100 points, 33 unbeaten, and still no trophy. Do we even care? Well, we'll ask the panel this. Thank you very much for joining us on the final episode of Where Clarets Walk. We're delighted to have you along with us. We're also asking, has Edwards been the difference this season between us finishing second and finishing third? And the Premier League fixtures will be out in June. Who do we want as the opener at Turf Moor, and who do we want as our summer first away trip? We'll ask Conor and Dan for their opinions on that, and we'll get their season highlights as well. How are we all doing? Jordan's birthday is today, so happy birthday, Jordan. He's off having some fancy meal somewhere, so we'll see him again in August. But Conor, 100 points. Congratulations. Does it feel a little bit like a deflating end to the season, or are we not bothered about a trophy?
Realistically, I'm not bothered, but I think in the manner at which Leeds did it, 91st minute, a bit raggy, it kind of just deflated us all a bit. But at the end of the day, I mean, we couldn't have done much more, to be honest. It was level points. They had a miles better goal difference. They deserve to win the league, realistically. And no, I think you'll never see a season like this ever again. It's a brilliant season for us.
No, absolutely. Yeah, two teams just so far above the rest is unbelievable. Dan, we need to mention your little cameo, of course, at Turf Moor on Saturday against Millwall. Congratulations. We won't show the video because we believe it was a little bit on the embarrassing side for you. How will you spend your winnings?
Well, I've been given
new caps from the shop.
Well, I've been promised a new bucket hat from the missus.
Okay.
And that will be my £10 worth of it. The rest I shan't see. It will be disappeared to an account which I shan't have access to. And I think it will probably, it's money we weren't expecting. It's always nice to have. It's a little bonus. We'll probably put it towards a holiday or something later on in the year. I would like to be more gracious and say donate it to charity, but my missus has already got ideas on it, so that's where it's going.
All right. Lots to talk about this episode then. Before we get there, I just want to say a massive thank you, of course, to anyone who's supported the channel as we've gone along here. 39 weeks now. We've been chatting about Burnley. We've done Hannibal, Trezor, Scott Barker, that Blackburn victory, which was talked about so much. And so say a massive thank you to everyone who's watched, in particular Dominic Hole, who's thank you, Dominic, who's commented on nearly every video and watched every video, and all the hundreds and thousands of you that have liked and subscribed as we've gone along. Obviously, a massive thank you to you two as well, which we'll do at the end again. Right then, let's jump into our topics then this week. Jacob Horsfall, our old friend, says it's baffling that Burnley and Leeds have a combined 6 losses this season, one of which is Burnley beating Leeds. I don't think we'll see two teams both hit 100 points in the Championship for a good long while. Conor said, Dan, that Leeds deserve it. Do you agree with that? Given that you've lost less, I know you haven't scored as many of those, but you've conceded less. You're unbeaten, and you've matched them for points.
Yeah. I think it would be disingenuous for us to say, "Oh no, you should give us the trophy." We at the end of the day, that people always say at the end of the season, the league table doesn't lie. Leeds have scored more; they've kept pace with us, and I'm not saying that we were right, but the three of us and Jordan, 4 of us, sat down in September, October, November time, and we said Leeds will win it. We came second, and we were right, but. I think when you look at the stats to it, we've gone 33 unbeaten now. We've conceded 15. Brownell scored 18. So he scored more than we've conceded, or 17. So we've conceded. So you look at we've beaten Leeds and we've taken a draw off them as well. So you look at it, you think, well, arguably, it's a bit harsh to see them lifting the trophy when we've kept pace with them, but. It's like that. The format's been like that for a long time. We knew the formula of it. You can't change it at the end of the season just because you feel a bit hard done by. And as bitter a pill as it is to swallow, that's the rules and that's what you stick to. And congratulations to Leeds. Yeah, I mean, it does suck a little bit that, we're separated by a goal difference, but we're both up. Are we that bothered? Not really. And well played to them, really.
Okay. Fair dues. Conor, Turfcast, which is another amazing Burnley podcast, said Brownhill only 1 goal away from the same goals as the Golden Boot winner from midfield, which of course was Pirro for himself. Yeah, I mean, that's something that doesn't get talked about there. You know, that he's up there, 1 goal away. I think 18 scored, 19 Pirro got in the end. And that was only because he smashed 3 or 4 in against Stoke a couple of weeks ago. Otherwise, Josh Brownhill would be winning the Golden Boot alongside Borja Sainz.
Yeah, it's something not talked about enough. I feel he does get a lot of stick off some people, which I won't name names, obviously. But I think he's proved us all wrong. Really, I thought he'd have another good campaign, but nothing at this magnitude. And he does remind me of. I'm saying this like I was around when Scott Parker played, but if you watch back on how Scott Parker did play, he was a midfielder who always does what Brownhill does. You know, gets into the box and is there for a goal whenever you need it. And in a similar way, I think it was good that we have a manager like Parker, because he really is getting the best out of Brownhill, isn't he? But, you know, Brownhill has that class, and Dan, don't say anything, but Brownhill has that class.
Yep. And he's banned from saying anything. We're having a positive one. Yes. And we have messaged Josh Brownhill's agent and the club this week to try and get him to come on, but unfortunately didn't have any response. So, Josh, if you're watching... Yeah. If you're watching, we're happy to have you on anytime in the summer. Just give us a ring, drop us an email. We'll jump off our lilos and come and chat to you. Right. The key player for Burnley season, many people say, Dan, is this fella. Ryan says, whilst his output might not be 10 out of 10, I think the premise and purpose of the signing is, yes, he is the most important signing Burnley have had. He's allowed Anthony to shift left. He gets doubled up on due to his dribbling, so actually lets more overlaps happen. This signing is why we're in the automatics. It's as simple as that. Yeah, do you agree?
He's got half a point. I do think that he does run down blind alleys a bit. He does his end product. I don't think he's got many assists either. So in what he's done in trying creating and producing goals, arguably not. But the flip side of it, of what he's kind of saying there, is to say that he drags players away. He gives teams an extra headache, which opens up places and spaces across the other side of the pitch, and it gives Anthony a bit more freedom. I think Anthony's a left-footed player, and so he's playing on his more natural side. So, yeah, he's got kind of a point in what he's saying there. I don't think that our entire promotion has been raised on the fact that we signed Marcus Edwards back in January. But he has brought a bit of quality to us. He has brought a different threat to us. He has brought a bit of pace to us, and it gives the defenders something else to think about. And whilst they're thinking about him over here, Brownhill's, being lucky, finding himself a bit of space and banging him in over here. So, I get what he's saying. I don't think it's 100% accurate, but he has a point.
Scandalous. Absolutely scandalous, you say that. Alfie says, he balances our attack, Connor. Without him, I don't think we make automatics. We were struggling for goals before him. And the stats actually back that up, don't they? That before Edwards' arrival, your average goals was 1.8, but after his arrival, it's something like 2.75, something like that. I haven't got them to hand, but yeah, you've certainly started scoring more goals since he's arrived at that point. So he's might not have scored them himself or assisted them, but yeah, the implication is that he's actually allowed others to get more time on the ball. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'm going to basically second what Ryan said and what Dan said. He does open up the space for players like Anthony and Brownhill to get a bit of space and do some magic. I think he was brought in to do just that, really. And I did think he'd offer a bit more goal scoring wise, but yeah, like Dan said again, he does like to run down blind alleys. He does like to do a bit too much, but I reckon in the Premier League he'll do more because you get more time in the Premier League to do what. It's not a physically demanding league, is it? It's the Championship, but would we still be in the autos if we didn't have him? That's up for debate. I'm not too sure, but no, he's definitely one of the biggest reasons we're up there. We're up here.
The frustration with him on Saturday as well, it showed. He ran down the wing, he cuts inside, beats one man, beats another man, and everyone's shouting, "Hit it!" And then he beats another man, and he beats another man, and then he gets closed down, and the opportunity is gone.
Yeah,
so that's a frustration with him. But we've said it.
Now you're not allowed to enjoy things for too much, because as much as people have been talking about the brilliant season that Trafford has, and he won the Golden Glove Award, of course he does, a massive recognition, you then have Man United fans saying, well, we need a new goalkeeper. for the season, and you also have Chelsea fans who are saying they're looking for a new goalkeeper as well. There are rumours, Dan, that Mr. Trafford might be joining a bigger side over the summer. First of all, what's the likelihood of that happening? Do you see? And is he good enough to play for a top 6 Prem side?
Well, it's arguable when you say United are going to be a bigger team than us. They're like 18th or something like that. One of our relegation rivals, I think, is the best way of putting them. Money talks, sadly. If they come at him and chuck loads of money at him, he'll probably improve even further under the coaches they have there, the setups they've all got and what have you. I think if you'd have asked me in like October, November time, I'd have probably said, well, thank you very much, away you go and what have you. But the way that he's progressed over the season, become much more assured. He's got that modern way of playing football in that he's quite comfortable on the foot, on playing with his feet, as well as his overall goalkeeping ability has improved. He doesn't look half as nervous as he used to. He waits for players to come on to him before he then plays it out and creates space to others. So I'm not surprised, and he's only conceded 15. I know you can say it's a team effort, but realistically, you look at some of the highlight reels he's had were phenomenal. That double penalty save, he pulls off saves against left, right, and centre. So to see the interest in him is always inevitable, as it will be for a lot of players that we've got. Whether he should go there or not, as a Burnley fan, you don't want him to. I think going to United at the minute probably is a bad shout. I know United fans will all be up in arms at that, but, they're going to ship more goals than probably they're expecting to. Chelsea have a fair shout to him, and he'll probably get in. He'll probably get first team game, but he's guaranteed in ours. But then you look at it and you think, he's going to be in a relegation battle playing for us. What's the best move for him? And I suppose it comes down to, does he want to stick with a team that keep the dressing room, keep the character going and see how far he can go on this journey? And if he goes down, then fine, he'll go. But to have that experience that he's had in League One, League Two, he's now had in the Championship. I think he went to the Premier League a little early last time, but he's now got that footing in. I'd like to keep him. But if someone comes and puts a big figure on a piece of paper, he'd probably go.
Okay.
We'll get Nick Pope.
Well, I mean, the reason that our Stoke fans earlier were talking about, the fact that the reason that their goalkeeper is being talked about is because of James Trafford's rumours that are now cascading, of course, to, well, if he goes from you, then you might look at Stoke's goalkeeper and have that ripple effect. Right then, let's talk about some others. Let's talk about Scotty P, because he deserves a lot. I think so. A lot more credit than he's getting. Leeds fans, Conor, is saying, he's the manager of the season. He got the manager of the season award, but he didn't win anything. This is a little bit harsh. And also fans are saying, well, he's going to last 3 months in the Premier League and then he'll be sacked again, like he was at Fulham. But let's not detract away from his achievements at all this season. Decent fella, great manager. Are even you surprised?
I do think there could have been different managers, like, as much as I hate to say, John Eustace, I think, did deserve manager of the season. But you look at what Parker's done, had to make a team within a week during the season and had a bit of a shaky start, but the togetherness is brought into the group and the stability is brought into the group. And yeah, he's a decent bloke, and I do think he absolutely deserves it. And it's not like when Leeds fans, he didn't win anything. He almost won something. It was basically level with Leeds. So you can't, it's harsh to say that realistically.
Okay. Brill. Luton have gone down, Dan. You and Sheffield United are heading different directions. Has that surprised you that a Premier League side last season is now in League One?
It has. And especially the pre-season talk was all about Burnley being in turmoil, and Luton seemed to be better placed if they've got the team together, and the manager that they had in at the time was touted for greatness. And certainly I didn't see this coming at the beginning of the season. I thought we'd all struggle to adapt, and you've always got that kind of, you're floating mid-table. But for Luton to be as poor as they have been, I mean, we put 8 past them in 2 games. I mean, that's a bad turnout. And, to go down.
Sorry, Dan, I pressed the wrong button there. Carry on.
It's all right. It is a shock to see them go, the back-to-back relegations. I mean, I know I've said a few times all season, if you don't like Burnley, go and support Luton and see how well they're doing. But, they've had the same money we've had. They had the same resources. Everyone was lording over them when they're in the Premier League, saying they approached it the right way. They've come down. They've just imploded. And to go down, they weren't even in the bottom three before they kicked the ball on Saturday. And then all of a sudden they go down getting hammered 5-3 by West Brom. It's a shock. And you just wonder when the rot's going to stop. I mean, you'd like to think they'll stabilise and bounce back, but you never know with this. When this kind of thing happens, it could be disastrous for them.
Yeah, spiraling. Brilliant. Playoffs then kick off. You don't need to worry about any of that. You just put your feet up and watch the drama unfold, Connor. We've got your old mates, the Blades, against Bristol City and Coventry against Sunderland. So, which one of those four do you want to be playing in the Prem?
I think probably about 98% of people have said this, but it has to be Bristol City. I mean, the past few seasons they've had and how boring they've been, and I think Liam Manning's done wonders there. He could have been another contention for manager of the season with the job he's done. And Scotty Twine as well. Love Scotty Twine. Love to see him in the Premier League. And no, Bristol City, great club, great fans, and they deserve to go up.
Good. Dan?
Yeah, if it's not Bristol, I think Sunderland. And I think Sunderland will actually do it. I know it's a bit of a shout with Sheffield United being as good as they have been. But if it's not Bristol for the reasons that Connor's just said, I'd like to see Sunderland. I know you'll have a tasty derby when they go up. They've got a massive following, big crowd and what have you. And to be perfectly frank, they've been one of the best teams I've seen play against us this season. When they're on it, they're on it. I mean, they've had some bad results here and there, but if it's not Bristol, I'd like Sunderland.
Right then, we'll ask you who you want to kick off the Premier League season against in a minute or so. But one of my favourite pictures from the party from Turf Moor was this one. Whose idea was it to invite Natasha Bedingfield to the stadium, and then to have this happen as well, which I think is just phenomenal.
Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find, reaching for something in the distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibition.
No one else.
Yeah. I mean, there was a podcast, Dan, wasn't there, that we won't mention, that tweeted out why didn't quite understand why she'd been invited. I mean, you've only been singing it, all season.
Yeah. Second-rate podcast, you see what it's all about.
Great scenes though. Dan, what was the atmosphere like yesterday?
It was good. I mean, I've spoken to a few people afterwards, and it weirdly kind of divided opinion. There was a lot of people, certainly the older end of the fan base, didn't quite understand what it's all about, but they don't necessarily follow social media, didn't quite understand the story behind it. When they found out, they was like, okay, I kind of get it, but it's a bit weird. Whereas there were a lot of people singing in, joining in. When the music cut, when the lyrics stopped, the crowd took over. I personally enjoyed it, but growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, albeit I was probably an adult at that time. Sorry, Connor, I know you were just born back then, but brought a certain nostalgia to it as well. So I thought it was a great move, and there had been a bit of an outcry on social media for her to come and perform. So it was quite a good touch, I thought, and especially if you watch the documentaries, you see why they're doing that song. It kind of fit quite nicely.
Yeah, Connor, you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, absolutely loved it. I mean, no offense to Natasha, but I wouldn't have known her if I fell over. I'm going to be completely honest with you. If he didn't say, this is Natasha Bedingfield, I would have used this woman coming off the pitch here singing. But no, I enjoyed it. And honestly, it wasn't on my bingo card for this year. So I'm going to say that was
absolutely not. Right.
So unexpected.
Okay. All right, then. June 16th, we think the fixtures are being announced for the Premier League. So then, Dan, 9 o'clock, you'll eagerly be, I'm sure, be having a look. Who do you want first home game and who do you want first away game?
Not City and not Liverpool, who always seem to draw every time first game. I'd like someone, I say easy. I suppose it's always no one's easy game, but you'd like a home draw, maybe against Everton, who's slow starters.
I knew that was coming.
Sorry, Mark, I forgot you're an Everton fan. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? Sorry, but yeah. But Everton, Wolves, that kind of thing at the turf, first game of the season. It's a game where you think you've got half a shout in. I'm not saying we've got a proper shout in it, but half a shout in it. That'd be a nice little starter to it. But what I don't want is Liverpool away or City away or, someone like Arsenal away.
Okay, it's going to be Leeds, don't you? It's going to be.
I'll be all right. We'll kick off with 3 points, then won't we? I'll be all right. I'll take that.
Connor, what would you have?
No, I thought about this wisely. Who's the team we're realistically going to get a point, at least a point from? And I've gone with West Ham. I think they've looked very poor under. It's not David Moyes, is it? It's Graham Potter. Yeah, I think they've looked very, very poor. And they've gone backwards, if anything. Yeah, I'd say West Ham because it's a very easy points, or Everton, or Nottingham Forest because I do know a Forest fan, and that'd be some good banter.
Right. Well, I was going to invite you for a drink at the away game to this, but I'll just be me and Jordan sat around the table now. Right. Be a cheaper round, won't it? Right then. Season highlights then before we close this off once and for all. Then it doesn't have to be Burnley related, it can be personal related. What's been the one thing that will stick in your mind this season? Connor, kick this off.
It's going to be Burnley because I'm biased as anything. 33 games undefeated because I reckon I can get the most conversation out of that with my grandkids or great grandkids or great great grandkids. You know what I mean? So yeah, that because I'm biased.
Dan.
The one I'll be telling the grandkids, I'll sit them down and I'll explain to them that back in August, Blackburn Rovers won the league by drawing 1-1 at Burnley. And their fan base tweeted all about it, went bananas about it, thought they'd won the league with a fluky goal. And, and the rest was unwritten at that point. Yeah, you can't go beyond, I think it's a clean sheet record for me. The game's undefeated has been fantastic. We've had some cracking games, but it's just the overall campaign has been special. It's not been the same kind of special as when Company took over and we were thrashing people left, right, and centre. This has been a different kind of almost more comfortable feeling for a Burnley fan. Backs against the wall. Everyone thinks we're horrible. Everyone thinks we're boring. We play that turgid defensive 0-0. Like Josh Brownell said, we bored our way up to the Premier League, but we haven't, and it's just been, a great season overall. There's been no specific point. I know it didn't really answer your question, but that's what I want to say.
Okay, the whole season has been the highlight. Brilliant.
The whole season, just the ethos, Brilliant. The mentality, everything.
Okay, good. Let us know yours in the comments below. For the final time, of course, this season. We're going to go away now for 3 months. We will be back in August. A week before the season kicks off, where we'll have hopefully lots of transfers to talk about, maybe new managers to talk about as well. You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
Don't even tempt it.
Maybe new goalkeeper to talk about as well. But regardless of what happens over the summer, just a massive thank you again to everyone who has helped us build this into something which we really enjoy making for you. Hopefully you can tell that as well. Massive thank you to Connor as well, whose youth has given us so many some useful insights. Thank you, of course, to Jordan, who is never at all outspoken and rarely has a quiet word to say. So thank you, Jordan. And, of course, to you, Dan, you've been here the longest, of course. You've been here from nearly the very start with us. So appreciate it, young man. I shall let you go and have 3 months off with your families, and we'll see you, hopefully, back here in August. Have a great summer, everyone. Congratulations to Burnley. See you in 3 months' time. Have a great one. Cheers for watching.